Dennis, let's talk about some of the policies that we think President Trump-elect will implement. If it's on the immigration side and we want to start there and or tariffs, what do you think is most important as it relates to what happens to the economy and where we see inflation going?
What bothers me mostly about an incoming Trump administration is his support for tariffs. I'm a believer in free trade. Freer trade is always has been historically the greatest propellant of economic activity, and the fact that Mr. Trump wants to put into effect tariffs, which I think can be unconscionably deleterious to the economy. That's what bothers me greatly about, and that's one of the reasons why I was reticent about voting for Mr. Trump, but did in fact pull the trigger in his favor. He wants to put into effect 10 and 20% tariffs and even 100% tariffs against China, which I think is illogical. What bothers me also about tariffs is the consensus is that tariffs are inflationary. I argue that tariffs are deflationary because it takes money out of the system that could go to buy other goods and services, and it becomes, I think, deflationary over a protracted period of time. And historically, if you go back to the 1930s, we took a severe recession and turned it into a severe and debilitating depression when we put into effect the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, which I think it's too reminiscent to what's going on right now. So the fact that Mr. Trump has embraced and promoted and propelled with tarification of the economy is, to me, disconcerting. It's very disturbing.
I'm curious, can you go back just to the 1929 time period and talk to us a little bit about what went from a recession to depression because of tariffs? What specifically were they, and how would they relate to today?
It was called the Smoot-Hawley tariffs. I think Senator Smoot and Representative Hawley pushed the idea of tarification of the economy, and the economy was clearly in recession in the early 1930s after the stock market crash in 1929. But it was merely a recession. It was a severe recession, but they turned a recession and made it into a depression by administering the Smoot-Hawley tariffs. I think we're 25 and 30% across the board, which caused the economy to here in the United States to collapse and put downward pressure upon the global economy at the same time. And I think we have not learned the lessons of the 1930s when we talk about putting tariffs into effect. The public loves tariffs. That's the problem that I see. The public wants to thinks that tariffs protect the U.S. economy, but they're deleterious historically to the domestic economy, and they're deleterious to foreign economies at the same time. So that we don't learn the lessons of history. That's the saddest thing.
Speaking of which, though, it's interesting. Some people believe that this will be President Trump 2.0. And then I think the out of consensus call is it won't be. He won't do it exactly the same way. So in other words, there might be an involvement with respect to how he even implements tariffs or wants to implement tariffs. There's a view that perhaps he wants a different type of legacy this time around.
He can impose tariffs with an executive order, which bothers me. I would hope that if he's going to push forward with tariffs, that he'd get congressional approval of them, get the Senate and the House to both agree to them, which would slow down the process of tarification. I think that he came into power in his previous administration without understanding how to get legislation passed, how to work better with the Congress, how to work better with the various government agencies. He's learned, I think, lessons from his failures in the first administration. I think he'll do a better job this time. Time shall tell.
Mm-hmm. And it seems though he's having we'll have a very strong team around him. That's what it looks like right now, at least to start, in terms of who he's looking at joining the team.
Yeah, one would hope he'll have a better team. He brought people into the administration that proved in the long run to be detrimental to his programs. I think he'll do a better job this time. I hope he's learned the lessons of the past. Time shall tell again.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk briefly about taxes. Do you think that we will see a much lower corporate tax?
I don't think there's any question about it. He'll push to cut the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15% or so, and I think that's a given. And he'll get congressional approval to accommodate that. So that's a given. Also, he will make sure that the tax increases the tax act of 10 years ago will be extended and made permanent. So that's lower taxes across the board, and holding taxes that were going to go into effect to tax estates, which that tax was going to run out in June of next year. That will be amended and pushed forward. So that'll be made permanent. That's a good thing.
Okay.
Lower taxes are
Yeah.
always a good thing.